You're listening to The Bible Guys, a podcast where a couple of friends talk about the Bible in fun and practical ways.
Hey everybody, we want to welcome you formally and delightfully.
Formally? Welcome.
Yes. Well, officially.
Yes.
How about
okay.
that?
Officially.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
I didn't mean necessarily.
If we could,
in a
we'd reach
formal
through
way.
the screen or through your radio speaker, shake your hand, look you in the eye, and say, welcome.
Wouldn't that be fun?
It is our privilege to have you here today.
Yes. That's some Star Trek kind of thinking right there.
There you go. That's right.
I would love for the world to be like Star Trek.
Okay.
In terms of travel and beaming.
Well, speaking of your favorite movies.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So today is Trivia Tuesday.
Oh, that's what I've heard.
Or Trivia, whatever day it is you're listening to this on.
I saw that like 60 seconds ago.
Yeah. But so we know that Chris knows his movie quotes.
Yeah, well, some of them.
But let's test his overall movie trivia knowledge.
Oh, you're reading what Desiree wrote.
Yes.
Okay.
So can you answer these trivia questions correctly?
Before the segment started, by the way, when we were off,
I was reading through them.
Yeah, you were saying it's hard.
These are hard. I wouldn't know these.
Okay, and
I wouldn't know any of these.
Okay, and I said, oh, really?
Yeah.
And there's 5?
Yeah, but I don't know most of the movie quotes you do either, so that doesn't
that's
matter.
true.
But okay, ready?
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
What is the name of the boat in Jaws?
It's easy, Orca.
Oh wow.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows it except Jeff. Jeff doesn't know that. Okay.
I can't believe you didn't know that.
I didn't know it. Yeah, yeah.
It's have you ever met somebody who like knows so much about football? You're like, dude, just study a Bible verse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's me.
Or guys that know movies.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay,
That's
here we go.
me.
Which Disney movie was the first full-length animated feature produced in the United States?
Okay, this is not hard. Come on, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
He risked really.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He risked everything. That was like 1939 or 38 or something like that, and he risked everything on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So he was about to be bankrupt, and had Snow White not done well, he would have claimed bankruptcy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the very first animal seen in Disney's The Lion King?
At the beginning?
Yes.
Hey, whatever it is. Yeah. Okay. First of all, I'm not going to get this, but I'll take a guess. Let me process it out loud.
Uh-huh.
So I see gazelles. There's like the meerkats who come up. There's a rhino. There's giraffe. There's elephants that eventually come over. I know that the elephants come later. Yeah. There's ants. I could see the whole thing.
Okay,
but
before you guess,
yes,
you've already said what the first animal was.
Oh, it's in that group?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is first? There's zebra, but that's not.
You hadn't already said zebra.
I know. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so this is hard. I'm gonna say the little meerkats that pop up.
Nope.
Oh, you want me to keep going?
It's rhino.
Oh, it's a rhino.
It's the rhino.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
According to Des, I don't know. It's just what's on the sheet in front of me.
That's right, because it starts off with that low
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and then he starts marching in. That's right.
Okay. In what year was the film Forrest Gump released?
Oh, gee whiz. I'm usually really good at this. I know it was mid-90s. I'm gonna say 95.
94.
Oh,
it was 94.
Dread.
Okay, so 2 and 2. This is it right here. This is the majority.
Okay. Oh, this is the majority. This is it.
So either
no pressure. No pressure.
Which Indiana Jones film sparked the controversy that led to the creation of the PG-13 rating?
First of all, wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that piece of trivia. One of the Indiana Jones led to controversy that invented the PG-13
the creation
rating?
of the PG-13 rating.
Well, obviously, I'm just going to have to talk this out. It's either A, the ending of part 1, because it was the only controversial part where his face melted off, which I wouldn't think would be that. Number 2, there's a lot in number 2. Temple of Doom, there's a lot there with reaching into the heart and pulling out the heart and the voodoo, the evil.
Mm-hmm.
That's
monkey brains.
Monkey brains is comical but yet creepy. Mm-hmm. Then number 3 was not controversial at all. The Holy Grail with Sean Connery. It's more Nazis.
More Nazis, yeah.
But there was nothing creepy at all about it. So I'm going to have to say the Temple of Doom.
It was the Temple of Doom. There you go.
Wow.
You worked it out.
I worked it out.
Look at that. You worked for that win.
Well, hey, I did not realize that. Did you?
I didn't know. I told you I didn't know any of these. So that was a mystery to me too.
Hey, but Indiana Jones are some of your favorite movies.
Oh yeah, I like the Indiana Jones movies.
Huh.
But it's not like I study them. I just.
Well, but you hear something and you remember it.
Yeah.
Like will you remember that?
I'll remember that forever now.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Huh.
Next time I watch, I'll go, did you know? Because that's me. I have my head's full of stupid little trivia things. And...
It's like Oscar on the Office. He's the guy that's known to be actually.
Oh yeah, actually.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Funny. No, that was fun. But I missed almost half of them.
Yeah. No. You got 3 right.
All right.
You got 60% correct.
All right.
Yeah.
Almost half.
Yeah. Better than half.
Better than half.
Better than half.
I missed almost half.
You're a winner.
That is true.
You're a winner.
I'm a winner.
You would have won an election with 60% of the vote.
Oh, there it is.
There you go. See?
You said it.
Yeah, you would have won. Okay. So, I have no transition.
Oh, yeah, we forgot transitions, didn't we?
I'm trying. I can't find one.
Hey, speaking of
winning
of facts that we don't normally think about, Solomon peppers the book of Proverbs with these facts that we should always try to remember.
Yeah, that one works. Or I was going to say,
it's okay.
Speaking of winning, Solomon tells us how to win at life. In the book of Proverbs.
That's better. I like that.
Is that a good one?
That's better.
Okay, good.
That's better.
So if you don't know and you're new to the show, we're trying to figure out how to do the cheesiest transitions into...
Yeah, and by the way, this is a new thing.
Yeah.
This is only a couple weeks old.
Okay, so we are in Proverbs 18 now. We're just going chapter after chapter, and we're looking at these little slogans. They're all one-liners of wise sayings that are usually true in life. And so Solomon says in chapter 18, verse 1, unfriendly people care only about themselves. They lash out at common sense. Fools have no interest in understanding. They only want to air their own opinions. Doing wrong leads to disgrace, and scandalous behavior brings contempt. Wise words are like deep waters. Wisdom flows from the wise like a bubbling brook. It is not right to acquit the guilty or deny justice to the innocent. Fools' words get them into constant quarrels. They're asking for a beating. The mouths of fools are their ruin. They trap themselves with their lips. Rumors are dainty morsels that sink deep into one's heart. A lazy person is as bad as someone who destroys things. The name of the Lord is a strong fortress. The godly run to him and are safe. The rich think of their wealth as a strong defense, and they imagine it to be a high wall of safety. Haughtiness goes before destruction. Humility precedes honor. Spouting off before listening to the facts is both shameful and foolish. The human spirit can endure a sick body, but who can bear a crushed spirit? Intelligent people are always ready to learn. Their ears are open for knowledge. Giving a gift can open doors. It gives access to important people. The first to speak in court sounds right until the cross-examination begins.
Wow.
That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Flipping a coin can end arguments. It settles disputes between powerful opponents. An offended friend is harder to win back than a fortified city. Arguments separate friends like a gate locked with bars. Wise words satisfy like a good meal. The right words bring satisfaction. The tongue can bring life or death. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. The man who finds a wife finds a treasure, and he receives honor from the Lord. The poor plead for mercy. The rich answer with insults. There are friends who destroy each other, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother. That's good.
And the word
there you go.
The word friends was in quotes.
There are quote-unquote friends who destroy each other.
Right. But a real friend sticks closer than a brother. Didn't we do a thing at Heritage? I'm struggling with my throat today. Didn't we do a thing at Heritage where
we couldn't
said
tell?
Frenemy?
Frenemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, frenemy.
You've got a frenemy.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was so good.
Frenemies.
Yeah.
People who act like your friends but aren't.
Yes, frenemies.
Yeah.
There's a lot there, isn't there?
Yeah, so this would be a good time to reference this idea. Whenever I do a basic study of any kind, like a devotional thing, I like to use the SOAP acronym, right?
SOAP?
SOAP. S means you start with the scriptures. Mm-hmm. So the scripture in front of us here today is Proverbs 18. Right.
And we read it.
And so we just read that and we read it all the way through. It's always a good idea to read out loud. Sometimes you hear it in a different way, whatever. So if you're with a friend, like let's say you wanted to do this show, but you're hanging out at Starbucks.
Yeah.
A good way, and around the world, this is what we teach people, is you read it out loud, have your friend read it out loud. So both of you are hearing it out loud. There's something special about that. I don't know why. But you just remember more. So start with scripture. And then the O is observations. And what you're observing is, what does it say about God? What does it say about people? And what really just jumps off the page and captures my attention, right? Mm-hmm. So there's only one phrase in here that talks about God, and that's the name of the Lord is a strong fortress, right? Is that the only one?
I think so, yeah.
I think so, yeah. So
yeah, these are life principles that have to do with others and yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so then the other side is, what does it say about people? Well, man, the whole chapter is about people.
Right.
Then, like you and I like to do, we'll often go, so what jumps off the page at us? Mm-hmm. And the frenemy thing jumped off the page at you or whatever, right? There's several of those things. Then, so S is you start with the scriptures. O, you start with observations. What's it say about God? What does it say about people? And what really jumps off the page or captures my attention? And then the A is application. So then, is there a command to obey? Is there a sin or a behavior to avoid? Is there something I should begin doing? Is there a promise to claim? Right? Those kinds of things. What does this mean to my life? Really? Mm-hmm. How do I apply this to my life? Who should I tell this to? Those things. And then P, you just wrap it up with prayer. Right? God, hey, this is what I learned today. This is what I feel like you taught me. And you go through what you learned about God, what you learned about humanity in general, the things that really captured your attention. And then, God, I see this, this thing to avoid. I should be careful about letting my words get me into quarrels, or I should be careful about, talking too much when I really don't know what I'm talking about, whatever, because I see these things. And so then you tell God what you saw, and then you tell him, as a result of that, this is what I want to do over the next day or two or three. Help me with those things, as you go on in the rest of your prayers. Yeah. So SOAP is a really great acronym. And really, that process is really how you and I filter through all these chapters anyways, right?
Yes.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So observing and then what jumps off of the page at you?
Yeah.
Verse number 13, spouting off before listening to the facts is both shameful and foolish. So here's a question.
I already know what you're going to say. No.
Oh,
I'm joking.
But
I'm joking.
That's good. No, I was just going to say, do you have a tendency to do that? Do you think yourself, or do you think that that's something that other people do to you?
Yeah, no, I do that. I very quickly get to the end of what you're saying sometimes, and I wind up saying dumb things.
And do you think that's
I particularly hurt my wife with that a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And do you think that that's just like a part of a personality wiring? I mean, obviously, it's something that can be learned, right?
No, it's just because I'm a fool, the Bible says. And we've already talked about it. The fools, you can't fix a fool.
Well, yeah.
No, it is. It's one of those things. The reason why Solomon has to tell us all these things is a wise person reads those things and goes, ooh, I should work on that. And a foolish person goes, that's dumb.
Right.
So I think a wise person would say, yeah, I think I struggle with that. I jump into an answer too quickly sometimes rather than hearing the whole story.
And that's part of the teachability thing that we talked about. Was it yesterday?
Yep.
That's really good. That's really good. Well, it says in 2 verses later, intelligent people are always ready to learn.
That's right.
And their ears are open for knowledge. So the idea that because the reason why I asked that question, by the way, is because there are certain personalities that want to get to the end. Like, hey, don't give me that. In fact, I had lunch with somebody yesterday, and he said, yeah, he goes, I'm not a detailed person. He said, don't give me the labor, just give me the baby.
Yeah. Well, I think for men in general, we tend to be fixers. We want to fix a thing. Yeah. That's a really generalized statement, but it seems to be true. And so I am that. So if not everybody. Lots of people. I go into meetings. You've been in meetings before where I go in and I'll ask a probing question and then sit back and just let somebody talk for 20 minutes trying to figure out what are they thinking, why are they doing what they're doing, whatever. Let them talk it out, and then I'll jump in sometimes. So you see me do that too, but particularly if somebody comes in and I'm not super fond of problems, but I like solving problems. Probably the first really, really good job I ever had in my life, I was working for Marriott Hotels, and I've been there about 6 weeks, and my boss comes in, a boss. He wasn't even my boss, but a boss. We had 1,280 rooms. We had 900 employees at our one hotel on Michigan Avenue in Chicago. 900. So it was a big hotel. Yeah. And so this boss comes, he says, "Hey, Jeff, can you come in my office?" I said, "Sure." He says, "You like to talk?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You like interfacing with people?" I said, "Sure." So I noticed the job that you have is behind the scenes all the time. He said, "Are you good at problem solving?" I said, "Yeah, I think so." He said, "Can I run you through a battery of tests? I think I have a cool job for you." I said, "Sure." So they ran me through this battery of tests, and it's all problem solving tests, quick problem solving, and how do you delight people? I just didn't realize that was the thing. And so then they put me in charge of, I answered every single complaint from all 1,280 rooms every night. That was my job. I had 30 people that would just run and go solve all the problems from every single complaint in the hotel. That's what I did. And I loved it.
What?
Yeah. You didn't know that? I loved that job.
I knew everything about you working at Marriott hotels except for that was your job description.
Yeah.
Wow. So you handled complaints
all night.
Now, did you talk with the people who complained, or did the phone?
You? So this was really cool. This was back in 1990. Caller ID was like brand new. Yeah. So I had a phone on my desk, and I knew every single room. Yeah. And then I would print off a manifest of everybody that was in every hotel room, and then I went to booking and I discovered what the codes were. And then I would figure out how many nights a year did you stay in one of our hotels, and were you traveling on a business expense or your own personal expenses? And so then I would make highlights, make notes, so I knew who I was talking to. So then you call from room 1285, and I'd be able to see 1285. Oh, he's a high roller. He's traveling with a business account, and he stays 65 nights a year. Well, buddy, I'd bend over backwards for you. Your pillow's not fluffy, and you want to tell me off? I'm going to send you to out for steak in the Blue Man Group in a limousine. Right?
Oh, you had the ability to do that.
I could spend $1,500 to keep you happy.
Per person?
Per room, yeah. For the high rollers, yeah. If you've been in our hotel for 50 nights a year, I could do almost anything to make you happy.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was fantastic, right? So because I was highly empowered, I delighted in solving people's problems. It was fabulous because it turned into a game. So instead of me getting mad, going, "Shut up, you're an idiot. There's a fluffy pillow." Instead, I was like, "Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. What can I do to make you happy? You know what? I'm going to send up, 6 pillows. You'll be able to test them all out. But in the meantime, you should not have to suffer through that kind of stuff. We delight in providing better service. Why don't I just give you and your wife a $50 gift card to our steakhouse downtown or downstairs?" Yeah. What? Right? So I'd send in 10 extra pillows, let them pick them all out because, different pillows have different fluffiness to them. We had all these different styles or blankets or whatever. I'd send them 4 extra boxes of chocolates, the whole 9 yards. Wow. And, if you stayed there 40 nights, 50 nights a year. So for me, that problem-solving thing was a delight in that. And that became a big part of my life, just trying to solve people's. But because of that, my wife comes. Sometimes she wants to talk to me about how she feels about a thing. Yeah. And I go, I hear you. Here's what you should do. And she's like, "Wasn't looking for an answer. Right. Didn't need you to fix it. Right. Wanted you to feel it with me for a minute." Yeah. And that's where I would say that spouting off thing comes from. Is I'm quick to try to solve a problem, and she's not wanting me to solve the problem. She's wanting me to feel the problem for a minute. Yeah. So I'm the worst at that.
I just saw a clip yesterday with Modern Family. And Phil, he's my favorite character almost on any TV show ever created ever. Okay, he's married, with the family there.
I've never seen Modern Family, but I understand what you're talking about.
Anyway, so he's sitting there with like a green mask on with a bunch of women at some salon or something, right? Because he has these like tendencies. And he goes, "What, ladies? What are you trying to tell me?" He goes, "You're trying to tell me the next time my wife says, 'Oh, I got stuck in traffic,' he goes, 'I shouldn't say, 'Why don't you try leaving a half an hour earlier?'" and all the women are like, "No." And he goes, "So what you're saying is I should just say, 'Oh, that's too bad, honey.'" And they're like, "Yes." Okay. It's hilarious. Yep. Yeah. And then, Yeah, and he's and then it get more ridiculous. He goes, and then so you're trying to tell me the next time that she says the waiter that I had was horrible, I shouldn't look at her and say, well, hey, why don't you try ordering something on the menu for once?
Yep.
You trying to tell me I shouldn't say that?
Yes. So usually when I'm spouting off before listening to the facts, it's with my wife.
Yeah.
Right. It seems like, so 22 says the man who finds a wife finds a treasure.
There it is.
And isn't that true?
Yeah. Oh,
it is true.
Goodness gracious. Yeah.
I tell Bonnie all the time, she's the best thing in my life, best person in my life, my favorite human on the planet. Right. Because it's just, she's a treasure in my life.
That's awesome.
And it's a favor from the Lord. That favor is, Jeff, you're going to screw up your life if you don't have a good woman in your life. Here you go.
There it is.
Right? That's what it was.
Yep. And Liz, you're my treasure too, baby.
Oh, yeah. But Liz, I just want to point out, I said it about Bonnie first. So
right.
Chris is just copying me.
I just had to match it. Is what I did. Okay. Verse number 12. Haughtiness goes before destruction. Humility precedes honor.
Haughtiness is such a gross word.
Yeah. It's actually hard to understand.
It's like,
yeah. Oh,
well,
for sure.
it's pride.
Right.
Right. But it's like a worse word than pride.
It feels worse.
Haughty.
Yeah. Yeah. But humility precedes honor. I love that. That's a rule for life, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. It's like George Costanza in Seinfeld. He's the one that wanted to give himself a nickname. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, T-Bone.
Yeah.
Call me T-Bone. And they called him Coco the monkey.
Yep. Pride goes before destruction. Humility precedes honor.
Anyway, my point is that others bestow upon you honor.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Right.
And so you can't bestow honor upon yourself. You can try.
Right.
The people who are self-important and try to demand respect, right? But that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about, if you live your life in humility, and by the way, it's even, you get more honor the higher up you go, right? So the more influence you have, the greater role you have. If you stay humble, the more honor will be bestowed upon you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So you can't demand honor, but you can be an honorable person.
Yeah.
Right. And eventually people will notice that. You can't demand respect, but you can decide to do respectable things. And so it's really a behavior thing that captures people's attention, and then people bestow honor and respect on you. It's something that's earned. It's not something that you can demand. And so in this one, humility precedes honor. When you choose to be humble, people go, that's the kind of person I want to be around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I think the last thing that really jumped out at me is it says, the mouths of fools are their ruin. They trap themselves with their lips. Yeah. And there's something to be said about all the other places in the scripture that talk about, to be slow to speak and be quick to listen. In the book of James, because it talks about the tongue is so powerful and it could set the forest on fire and everything else. But actually, it says here that there are mouths that actually lead fools to ruin, and you trap yourself with your lips. Because have you ever met somebody who talks out of both sides of their mouth? Oh yeah. And they'll say something to somebody, and then they'll turn right around to the other party and say what that person wants to hear. Right. And they'll trap themselves without even realizing it, because in their own little bubble, they're fine. Right. But what they don't realize is that the world connects, and when the dots connect, they've basically sealed their fate with their lips. Well, that's Solomon says in the verse right before it, fools' words get them into constant quarrels. They're asking for a beating. Yeah. They're asking for a beating. And sometimes that's the only solution for a fool. Several times in the book of Proverbs, it says the only answer for a fool is a beating. Right? So yeah. And by the way, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying life is going to be way harder for a foolish person who's not careful with their words. And by the way, you know what lesson I learned at my second church? So I've only been at like 4 or 5 churches in my whole career. But my second church that I worked at, I learned this lesson, actually. I learned the lesson that whatever you share with anybody, regardless of whether it's in complete confidence or anything else, it will always, 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 always make itself back to either that person or somebody close to that person. And so it's like, no matter what you say about anybody at any time, it is always going to come back around. Yeah, yeah. Right? Yeah. So there is almost nothing. unless it's more like a leadership employee kind of discussion, right? Like if you and I were talking about an employee in confidence, but for the right reasons, right? Not for the bad reasons, but for right reasons.
Right.
And we had to do like an assessment or something like that. And we can share on a leadership level type confidence. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those kinds of leadership
It's
decisions.
the whisper, the gossiping.
Yes.
Yeah. That'll always come back to
It
you.
is the sharing of opinions about somebody, how you feel about somebody, your opinion about somebody. It doesn't matter whether it's a boss or whether it's an employee. If you think it's in confidence, just know if you're on a staff, it will always get back to
Well, you got to
that
be careful with the kind of friends you have. If your friends like hearing gossip, they also like sharing gossip.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, well, that probably wraps up our time. And so hopefully we will see you next time on the Bible Guys.